Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with the most important question on Reddit. Am I the bunghole? Well, let's dive in and see what's going on today. I take pride in being a snitch. I'm going to hold my comments to the end. Am I the bunghole for following the rules? Why is calling out someone who is blatantly or knowingly doing the wrong thing seen as bad or snitch behavior? If you're breaking a rule, whether it be an actual law or a socially unacceptable behavior, I will call you out. The rules and laws are there for a reason. I've gone my whole life not understanding why doing the right thing is actually the wrong thing. I could never make friends because I'm the local snitch. Kids would never want to hang out with me because they didn't want me telling on them, but why are you doing the thing if you don't want to get in trouble? You know it's wrong. I'm doing the right thing when others aren't. Why is that morally wrong? Why do people hate me for following the rules? And why do people have the gall to get upset when they are called out for doing the wrong thing when they know they're in the wrong? If you're going to do something that you know will have consequences if caught, then you would better be prepared to accept them. Genuinely confused. Well, genuinely confused. Here's something about that. Now, I actually agree with some parts of what you're doing, right? Because there are absolutely things that should be reported. If somebody is abusing anyone, it should be reported. If someone is stealing from anyone, it should be reported. If someone is destroying property, it should be reported. But if someone is doing something that affects only themselves in any manner, or just because they do something that is against your morals, doesn't mean that it is either against the ethics or that it is objectively a bad thing. Your morals may not be objectively a good thing. Believe that or not. And so you enforcing your morals upon others is an infringement upon their ability to be autonomous. I believe in autonomy. You are free to do anything that you want outside of hurting or destroying someone else's person or property. So you are not allowed to aggress on anyone for anything. You are allowed to defend yourself with any force necessary, but you are not allowed to aggress. You're not allowed to steal or any of that. Like, if it doesn't belong to you, it doesn't belong to you. If it's not yours, it's not yours. But moral questions, it's not up to you. It's not up to you whether or not I drink, even if this is a dry county. It's not up to you whether or not I smoke whatever herbs I prefer, whether or not that is legal where I live. That is a moral problem, should not be a legal problem. Most of our problems come from trying to legislate morality. Like, to tell someone that you can't do this because we think it's bad is pretty much always wrong, right? If you the way to express it is, that's against my conviction, so I'm not going to do it, is good. That's against my conviction, so you can't do it, is bad. Pretty much every time. Now, that's not for the objective things. Objective things are murder, robbery, things of that nature. Like, obvious transgressions of autonomy are not within your right to hold on to. But to tell on somebody who is hurting somebody is okay. To tell on somebody who is doing something that is going to affect the autonomy of another person is okay. But to run and snitch because somebody's smoking a cigarette, well then yeah, you're the bunghole in that situation, right? That this is a very good. It depends on what you're doing it for. This is a motivations thing, right? If you're just doing it because that's the rules, you're going to wear this piece of clothing because I tell you that your whole head has to be covered. I'm going to tell you that you have to wear this piece of clothing because your whole body has to be covered from top to bottom. I'm going to tell you that you have to eat this food because it is against my religion for you not to eat it. Right? That is where you're going with this rules. Right? We have laws for a reason, because they transgress on the autonomy of another person. That's why we have the entire social construct of society. That's why we have governments at all. It's because people left to their own devices will completely be tyrannical. And left to too much government becomes tyrannical. So we have to stay right there in the middle with freedom. We have to stay right there in the middle, away from both the tyrants. Calling out every single rule breaker every single time is tyranny. That is leading to authoritarianism, and it should be resisted completely and wholeheartedly in every single instance. You can't do that because I feel like you shouldn't is always wrong, unless it is one of the objectives: murder, theft, destruction of property. Those things are not your right. Like, you don't have a right to do any of those things. You don't have a right to kill another human being. You don't have a right to go and take it, even if you're hungry. You don't. If it belongs to someone else. Now, if you're out and you happen to forage something that's growing from a plant and you eat it, that is a completely different thing. If you go to a tree and you're starving and there's an apple on the tree and you take the apple and you eat it, perfectly fine. I don't care who you are. If you go to that same tree and you're still starving and you take 2 dozen apples, then you're a thief. It's that simple. Like, if you need this to survive and it's growing and readily available right here, provided by nature, then eat. But don't take it home with you. And that's the difference here. Like, that's the difference between being a snitch and being responsible, right? Because being responsible is reporting the bad things. Like, if you know that your neighbor is beating his wife, when you hear that, you need to call the cops, right? That needs to happen. That is not being a snitch. That is being a responsible citizen. It is your duty as a responsible citizen to ensure that everyone around you's autonomy is perfectly fine. And that includes your neighbor and his wife. Right? Okay. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion to a not too difficult topic. Like, it's really not that difficult if you really stop and think about it for just half a second. Like, you are perfectly entitled to do whatever you want to do as long as you are not infringing on someone else. So if it's against the law to smoke an herb and you smoke an herb, I don't care. It is not my responsibility to tell on you. If you decide that it's your right to beat on your wife, then it is my responsibility to tell on you. It is my responsibility to intervene if possible, to stop the situation if possible, and that is not always possible. It is not always wanted. But regardless, you should still be a responsible citizen and report it to the authorities so that they can make the appropriate decision in the situation. And nothing may come of it. And then if so, they're not going to tell who called. So anyway, to the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me. I am praying for you every single day. Till next time, I love you. You're perfect, whole, and complete, just the way that you are. This has been Pittstake. Peace.